Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day. AussieSim2 here, and today guys we're going to be going over everything you probably missed in the new Diablo 4 trailer into the Endgame. So yes, Diablo 4 did release a new trailer kind of showcasing all of the things that you will be able to do in the Endgame of Diablo. Now also, I didn't do the heavy lifting. I can't take all the credit here. Someone, absolute legend by the name of Gretel Growsome, did all the heavy lifting on Reddit. Already posted like a breakdown observation of everything that was in the trailer that's either new or we haven't seen before. So massive shout out to you. You made my job a hell of a lot easier. I can't take all the credit, but I will make a video though. Now before we go any further, I am gonna have to issue a disclaimer. There is probably going to be a lot of spoilers. I don't know if some people would even consider them spoilers now, since Blizzard themselves have published a video with this stuff in it. But I know to a lot of people, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to be that guy. So just as a disclaimer, some stuff might be spoilers to some people. So if you continue to watch through after me telling you that, and you're someone that doesn't like spoilers, that's on you, buddy. That's your problem. So the first thing you guys might have missed inside of this new trailer, literally at the start, like 9 seconds in, is a boss we have not seen before. Now this boss looks very familiar. So if you play Diablo 2, you might know this boss, and that is Andoril. Andoril? I am probably butchering that so hard. Now, another boss that also got shown off that we definitely have not seen before, and it was all the way at the very end. So all the way at 5 minutes and 54, they do showcase off another boss. Now, this camera angle is quite zoomed out, and it doesn't look like it's in a dungeon. So one would like to assume that this is the third world boss that we don't know about yet. Obviously we know Ashavar, the one that we had in the open beta, and the other one we recognize from some of the other trailers is Avarice the Gold Curse. That's the guy that's like looked like he's carrying Pandora's box and he's just swinging it around. So he's one of the other world bosses that we haven't seen. Now the third one that we kind of knew the name for is called Wandering Death. Now, I don't know about you guys, that kind of looks like some kind of wandering death to me. But the other thing that even further solidifies that this is probably Wandering Death, the third world boss that we haven't seen, is if you look at the abilities, he's got tornadoes, he's got like some bone circles on the ground. If you actually look at the leaked moves, that kind of looks like death tornadoes, spawning tornadoes that ravage the battlefield, comes in threes, spawns more of them simultaneously as health depletes. And then the big circles on the ground look like the death craters that create explosion that deal damage after 5 seconds, can block attacks and trap you inside. So this kind of looks like the Wandering Death. So now we're going to go over like a few things that the devs actually said themselves. It's the way that they worded things that's really interesting. The first thing is one of the devs say play your way, and they go over that progression can be done any way in the game. You don't have to just do open world, you don't just have to do dungeons, you don't just have to do PvP, but you each representative bit of content contributes to your main core progression, which I think is really cool. So that means if you don't like a certain bit of content, you don't have to do it. Doesn't seem like you're going to be forced to do it. Now another thing that's really interesting is one of the devs did say that you have a chance to get a Codex of Power, a legendary aspect from completing the dungeons. Now you guys might have remembered that when we did play in the beta, when we were completing the dungeons, you could see that they had like a legendary aspect tied to them. It seems to be that it's a chance that you will get that legendary aspect. I'm pretty sure we're getting it like 100% of the time just to probably play test and test stuff out, but it's a chance. So keep that in mind, that I'm assuming that when we actually do the dungeon that have legendary aspects to them, you're not going to get them 100% guaranteed. Now one thing I completely forgot to touch in my last video is they do talk about Nightmare Dungeon. Now Nightmare Dungeons are kind of like mythic dungeons in WoW, whereas you get like a Nightmare Sigil. You can go to the occultist to make these Nightmare Sigils. You might be able to get them elsewhere, like as drops or something, I'm not sure. But you can go to the occultist, you make the sigils, you go to the dungeon, you put the sigil into the dungeon, and it will make that dungeon harder. It will grant it affixes where you have to deal with extra mechanics inside that dungeon. Maybe it might create more dense mobs, the mobs are stronger. It just makes the dungeon harder, and these nightmares sigils do have ranks. So you have like Nightmare Sigil 1, Nightmare Sigil 10. Now Nightmare Sigil 1 is going to be a lot easier than Nightmare Sigil 10. It offers a different experience for each dungeon, and it offers additional harder content for those people that really want to grind and test out their potential in the game. Now, I did cover the Tree of Whispers in my previous video. Tree of Whispers. So I will just cover the Tree of Whispers again, just because I did show off like what kind of reward you would get for completing those bounties. And it seems that you will, after you complete the bounty, you will get a selection of like 3 weapon or armor caches. And then I'm assuming when you open those, you will get multiple bits of that item. Another thing that I covered in my previous video is the Fields of Hatred. See, we already knew all this stuff was coming, but they did expand on this further by showing that the Field of Hatred, the reward, the PvP vendor, is going to be another gambling system. So when you go out and get your Seeds of Hatred and you convert them into red dust, you will be able to take that red dust to a PvP vendor and you will be able to gamble for bits of gear that you want. I know a lot of people are just going to be so happy to see that there is a PvP vendor inside of Diablo 4. Again, we'll have to see how this works out with the gambling, if it's even going to be worth it. Now, moving on over to the controversial stuff that was kind of shown in this trailer, besides the trailer itself, is the cost to respec. I know the cost of respec is a big talk with a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to be gatekeeped at endgame by not being able to respec because it's too expensive. Now, take this all with a grain of salt. We don't know how much gold we're going to be earning in the end game. It does show here that the refund cost for this rogue is 105,000 gold pieces. It's just basically 1 refund point, 1 refund cost to your active skills. So 105,000, like I said, we'll have to see how much gold we're actually earning. But that brings us to the Paragon board as well, because they do sort of show some numbers of how much it's going to cost to respec there as well. Each section of the Paragon board is 54,000 gold pieces to respec. Each individual one. And it shows up here, this particular character that they're playing has 147 points. So, just a bit of quick maths from this lovely person on Reddit, it's going to cost like 18 million gold to fully respec. But yeah, keep in mind that there's 60 skill points and 220 renown points. Okay, I mean, they weren't joking when they said it was going to be expensive to respec at endgame, right? I mean, they hold true to that point. I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about that. Again, like I said, we'll have to see how much gold we actually earn, but I don't want to be gatekeeped at endgame. Nobody does. If they're catering to casuals, who is this for? Who is this for, making stuff so expensive to refund at endgame? Who's it for? Nobody. You're going to push all those casual players either away from the game, or they're going to make another character and not really enjoy it because they just want to play their other character. Now, moving on over to the last notable thing in this trailer, and that is character stats. Now, right here we can see when they're doing the Paragon board here, it is the rogue. They are putting points in. So this is, I mean, this is just really kind of out of context, but you can kind of get an idea of what their stats are for the rogue before they kind of put all their Paragon points in. So we kind of have like 400 dexterity, 220 willpower, 282 intelligence, and 240 strength. And they also do show the barbarian stats as well, level 100 barbarian at 2 minutes. And he has 1.7k attack power, 3.4k armor, and 8.1k life, strength at 261, intelligence 147, willpower 125, and dexterity 127. So interesting. What gets even weirder is when you look at the sorcerer's attack power. So here we have a level 75 sorcerer, all good and dandy. Now remember, the barbarian at level 100 had 1.7k attack power. This sorcerer at level 75 is rocking 4.5k attack power. Very weird why its attack power is so much higher than barbarian, but anyway. We have 2.8k armor, 3.1k life, for the actual stats 137 strength, intelligence 98, willpower 111, and dexterity 148. Again, this is all speculation, like we're just trying to connect dots, we're trying to draw conclusions to everything that is presented to us. We don't know what they were doing in this trailer. This could have been some cracked out, jacked up like playtesting that they're doing and they completely forgotten that this is the footage that they went with. I don't know. There will be more official content coming out on the 20th of April. They are going to be doing a live stream going over more of the Endgame stuff that they have kind of just touched upon. So make sure you guys look out for that if you are keen on finding out more information about all the Endgame stuff for Diablo 4. And that is basically it from me, guys. Appreciate all the love and support as always. Until next time, stay safe. Peace out.